Prior to discussion pointers, reading, speaking, and listening standards are overviewed with students to clearly state objectives of the class period. We'll jump into the lesson now with the discussion pointers. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and review. Before we begin the discussion, let's go over our discussion participation pointers. Remember that formality is key, and you also should use strategies for effective discussion. So here's some reminders of what you need to do during your discussion, and it also refers to the rubric that you have on your desk. Remember that if you agree, you're getting a point. Those of you that are participating in the discussion, if you agree with what somebody says and then you continue to carry on, you pretty much piggyback off of their response and add a little bit more why you agree to their response. If you disagree, you should also indicate why you disagree and always refer to your text evidence. So remember that everybody has something to say, so you should be able to subside and let your classmates join in and add to it. So all of you with the rubrics, are you ready to score?
In Out of the Dust on page 76 in empty spaces. I think that Ma, before Ma died, Ma was the one that held Billy and her father together. But now that Ma's gone, it's a little like awkward between them two, and their relationship is weakening.
I agree with Traylon's comment because Ma really was like kind of like the glue that held the relationship together. Now that she's gone, it's kind of awkward because they're used to having like Ma there to, you know, kind of bring up conversations and talk to him and, you know, kind of solve Billy's problems. And now that she isn't there, it's kind of awkward now. And Billy and her father doesn't really have anything to talk about anymore.
So regardless of what the Kelby family were going through with the drought, on top of the Great Depression, they could teach lessons to you and I and our families even in present day. So Madison, go ahead and kick things off, just discussing what kind of lessons can we learn from the Kelby family.
Well, we probably know a little bit about them. I mean, they agreed, like.
I could help Madison out by saying that a lesson that we could learn from them is no matter what you have or what you're dealing with, there's a way to get out of it or help, because in rules of dining, they have just to eat, they have to flip their napkins and stuff, and even if they do that, they still have to eat dirt. So they're grateful for what they have and why, no matter if they're in the dust or if they have little money.
I have something.
You can go.
I have something to add about that. We could learn to be more helpful like them, because in the story of the wild boy, when the teenage boy, he looked like he was about 15, and he went to the Kelby's house and he asked for food. Then Ma had let him have some biscuits and milk, which was very helpful, and then she let him have Pa's overalls. So that was very, very nice and helpful of them. And also Ma, in the donations, she had gave away one of her baby's feed sacks. She had gave away some cured meat, and she had gave away some jars of apple jelly, applesauce, jars of applesauce.
I also agree with Traylon and even though they were struggling, they tried to help people that were doing worse than them. So I agree that the Kelbys are very giving and helpful. And I think that a lot of families today should also be like that. But since we have more things and some people are more wealthy than others, I think that we take stuff that we have for granted and don't try to help the needy.
I have a question. What does wealth have to do with it?
Like, if you have money, then you can help people. But if you're doing worse than the people that you're trying to help, there's no way you can help people because you doing worse than them. You struggling.
You're doing
yourself.
worse.
You're doing worse
than them.
You're struggling yourself, so you can't help somebody that doing better than you. They're supposed to be helping you. So you have to be more wealthier than them to be able to help somebody, even if it's not a lot.
I have one more thing to add to what Narai just said. Like, even though the Kelbys don't have anything, they would give like food, and they would donate stuff that they probably don't need. They would donate it to other people that is way not well.
That is worse off.
Worse than worse than them.
I think you actually said the same thing Narai said. So realize that you're saying that although the Kelbys had nothing, they still gave because there were people that had even less than them. Madison, go ahead. You were going to add on to that.
I also agree with what Traylon said because in Wild Boy it kind of hints off what other people are dealing with and the real hunger problems because it clearly states that his limbs were like willow trees, stating that he was really skinny and really needed food and he wanted to go to California because he was on the road. Well, it doesn't really state that, but you can kind of tell, and it hints off what the neighbor is putting up with. Yeah.
Oh, I want to add on. Wait, no. I agree with Narai, Madison, Traylon, because in the poem of Mr. Harley's money handling, Billy, it was Daddy's birthday, and Mom decided to bake him a cake, even though they was like barely had money, so she wanted to spend that little money to make Daddy a birthday cake. So Billy went to Mr. Harley's store, and Mr. Harley's like a cheating money, something like a cheapskate. Because he always wanted to cheat somebody, like for his like
Let me
Yeah,
I would like
let
to
me
help Danica with what she's trying to say. In Out of the Dust, in the section of Mr. Hartley's money handling, when Mom was trying to was using her money for a small amount of money to buy Pa a birthday cake. Well, when they went there, everyone knows about how Mr. Hartley is a cheapskate and he would try to cheat people from out of their money. So when Billy and Mom went there and they bought the food and the ingredients for the cake, that he had cheated himself by giving Billy 4 cents extra, which Billy knew about. So when Mom found that out, she had told Billy to bring it back to Mr. Hartley because he needed the money more than she did.
I also agree with Danica and Traylon is saying. I also want to add that in life, you should also know every time you does something bad to somebody, the karma comes back around, because Mr. Hartley ended up with his roof falling after he cheated a lot of people, and so that's why he needed it more than Billy and her family. And plus, people barely went to the store now since they found out that he's been cheating people a lot out of their money. And I also think that Ma is very kind and generous for making a return of money after all the times that he cheated their family.
Good. Good. I'm going to go ahead and pause right here. And once again, I'm going to kick it back to the outside and ask, is there anybody out here that would like to commend somebody, that would like to add on, or would like to question? Miss Gotro, I see you have your hand up. So what is it that you would like to pose to the group?
I agree with Traylon how he cheats people out of his money, and Mr. Harley. And even though there's so much trouble in the world, it doesn't hurt to be nice to anyone, because it's not like it's going to kill you to be sweet and nice.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Go ahead.
I caught something else Traylon said. Traylon had said that when Billy got home and they had the 4 extra cents, that Billy knew about it. Well, when Ma called Billy into the kitchen, Billy had thought that Mr. Harley cheated them again, but she didn't know he gave them 4 extra cents and he cheated himself.
Very good catch. Very good and absolutely accurate. Billy, when Ma calls Billy out, because she's counting the change out, when Billy hears Ma call her, Billy thinks, oh no,
He cheated us again.
he cheated us again. I forgot to count the change at the store. He cheated us again. But this time, he cheated himself. So, good catch. I know, I'm going to ask a tough question right now, okay? And I'm going to ask it to Madison. Madison, if you had to blame someone, Billy played a part in it, Mom played a part in it, Daddy played a part in it. If you had to blame someone, who do you think you would blame and why?
I think I would blame Daddy, because whenever Ma was all burnt with her stomach and stuff and she had the baby, he went out and took Ma's extra money. He went out drinking, leaving Billy home alone with Ma, and Billy has blistered hands from the fire. And Ma was like really thirsty, but Billy couldn't squeeze the water from the rag because of her hands.
Excellent point. So you think that Dad taking the money and going out of town actually hurt Ma's health because the only person left there to take care of her was Billy. That's a great point. What's the title of this poem?
A Tent of Pain.
A Tent of Pain. First stanza, Billy Joe says that Daddy's made a tent. Dad's made a tent, right? Because he doesn't want anything to cover Mom. So let's go down to the fifth line of the stanza where Billy says, I can't look at her. Do you guys see that? Mm-hmm. I want you to really think about what Billy is saying here and try to picture Mom and the condition she's in. So everybody, let's read with that. I can't look at her. I can't recognize her. She smells like scorched meat, her body groaning there. It looks nothing like my mom. It doesn't even have a face. That last line, she said, read it again. It doesn't even have a face. I want you to imagine that. What do you think? In this case, let me hear from Kanan. Kanan, how do authors use words to help us readers really understand and grasp what's happening? Just in that one stanza, what are some things that you think Karen Hess does very well to help us, the readers, understand what's going on in the novel?
Calling Ma it, like she is really burnt up and like she don't even look human anymore.
Good. What about some of the other figurative languages? Is there any figurative language in that one first stanza that she uses?
She smells like scorched meat.
What type of figurative language is that?
A simile.
And how effective is that simile? What does that help us understand?
It helps us understand how badly she's burned and what she smells like.
Very good. So in the end, guys, let's go ahead and wrap things up. Overall, I think you did a good job on the discussion. So everybody, let's give our participants a quick hand. Good job on the discussion. Those of you on the outskirts, I think you did an excellent job tapping into, adding to the discussion.